Hi there YouTube, my name is Simon and I make astrological videos and teach astrology as well and post it on the internet. Welcome to my channel. Thanks very much for coming over and having a look at what I have to say today. I truly appreciate it. Today guys, I've got something really interesting for you. I'm going to be bringing you something called Neptune and Pisces, and I'm going to be breaking it up into two segments, okay? And the main principle behind this these two videos is to actually explain to you guys the nature of why it is that we are experiencing this sort of like Mayan change and shift in consciousness and spirituality and newfound healings, etc. Like what I'm going to attempt to do today guys is give you the sort of astrological perspective, but also share with you guys how it actually operates within consciousness, why it is that we're sharing this and coming to become aware of this information, and why we sort of focused in on it and not doing other things as well. So that's the main sort of like talk for you guys today. For any of you guys that have watched some of my other videos, thanks very much for coming over and having a look what I have to say again. I truly appreciate it. Obviously guys, a large part of my work is rooted in trying to raise everybody's vibrations and give as much information as possible out there to invoke one thing, which as you guys know about is to think, to become aware, and not to take on what I have to say as being convincing, but more along the lines of like sharing awareness in this capacity, yeah? So if you guys haven't hit or subscribed to my channel yet, take this opportunity to do, greatly appreciated. Obviously I'm bringing out all this content for you guys, and I sincerely hope that, like I said, it's actually informative for you. And if you're interested in knowing anything about your own astrology, send me an email, go onto my website, the link is there at the bottom, and book a reading with myself if you want to know how this process works within your own lives, okay? So let's see. Pisces, okay, Neptune in Pisces. So the first thing I want to do is try and clarify that Neptune in Pisces is an energy or an expression in consciousness, or a symbolic sort of interpretation, as the ending or culmination of a cycle. So what Pisces is within consciousness, how it represents itself, is literally the end of the day, okay, the last sort of like part of a cycle. And intrinsically within that process is what we define it as the sort of culmination, or a balsamic, or the ending process, okay? And in that glyph over there that you can see over there, the ancients, when they actually drew the glyphs that were relating to the energy patterns that there, they basically took the two worlds and they connected it, okay? Because that's what the Pisces logo is about. So it's about a connection. And it's about connecting two worlds, two spaces, and that's what Pisces is, okay? So Pisces is that energy. Now Neptune and the 12th house all correlate to the same thing, right? So what you're having over here is this planet of Neptune, okay, coming into the 12th house, or in other words Pisces, and sort of like vibrating in there, okay? And the human experience is what we are using as a model or a car in which we can experience this energy, and that's where we are, okay? So, as you know, Neptune, Pisces, balsamic, the ending of a phase, the culmination, the sort of last before everything sort of begins again, etc. So if you have a look at my sort of like pictures over there, you can see that I've got the balsamic phase, which is right at the top of the 12 o'clock area, okay? And that's where we are, Neptune, Pisces, and sort of the balsamic phase. So you guys have got an understanding of what the energy is. Okay, what does it mean? It means that basically when we are looking at the nature of time, space, and reality, Neptune comes along, and if you look at the Zodiac in itself, you've got Saturn, Uranus, and then Neptune. And Neptune exists outside the field of Saturn. So Saturn, very simply, is an energy pattern that explains to us how to structure stuff. It's form, it's matter, okay? And this is how this expression works. And what happens is that when we have Neptune making an interaction with that, we actually have what we call the dissolving of time, things that exist outside time, outside our sense of what is real, etc. So that picture over there is actually what is happening when we are putting Neptune and Neptune contacting anything. It's dissolving it. It's basically explaining to us that the nature of everything exists within a timeless concept. It is dissolving of that process. Okay, so step one was basically Neptune going to Pisces, and we know that it's the energy of dissolving, the energy of culmination, the energy of transcending all the limitations. And we know that Neptune in itself is that experience, right? To dissolve that stuff, to make it that is not part of something that is linear, okay? So how do we experience it? What are we basically experiencing at this moment in time is like since the Piscean age, which started 2,000 years ago, okay, with the entry of Christ coming into our consciousness, what we had is this period of time of distortion. Okay, so what's happening in our lives is that we're experiencing sort of like a large percentage of our consciousness being distorted through this Piscean archetype, okay? And we're experiencing it like that. Everything looks a little bit murky. Where is everything going? What is everything doing? It's like we're really sort of like having to sort of navigate our ways through this spiritual concept, okay? And what's going to happen during this period of time is that everybody is relating to their new worlds, their new awakenings, their new like found understandings of life, spiritual, etc., etc. But a large part of us are still sort of like transiting from the period of time of becoming awake into that spiritual realm of understanding Pisces energy, which is interconnectedness. So for a period of time, guys, I'd urge you to sort of like allow to understand that well, exactly what I've written over there. It takes time to adjust to a new reality. A period of mental distress may be a result of the surge of new understanding. All of us are becoming awake and aware to these things, and it's part of that process that is what is written over there. Okay, so if any of you guys that are experiencing that, try to sort of find some inner peace with that information. Literally, to know that we are transitioning from one place to another, and it's that transition within consciousness that allows us to experience a bit of shakiness, etc., or turbulence, for instance. Okay, and it kind of relates to the previous picture that I put up, where it feels a little bit murky. So, what is the point of it? Well, in this particular instance, the picture that I've got for you guys over there is to explain that as a human race, we are at the beginning, 2,000 years ago, when Pisces came, when the age of Pisces was starting, we sort of like learnt all the archetypes that are existing within Pisces, right? We're opening openness, we're understanding the nature of connectivity, we're understanding the nature of spirituality and Christ consciousness and so on and so forth. And now we're coming to the culmination, right? So Neptune and Pisces, right? This is it. This is the climax. Neptune and Pisces is the beginning phase of the culmination of the Piscean age. Okay, and so there's a part of that consciousness within ourselves that we are experiencing that is allowing us to connect to what is necessary from an evolutionary point of view about moving into the Aquarian age. Okay, so we're becoming awake, we're becoming more aware, we're becoming more sort of like aligned with our sense of self. And how are we going about that? We're finding an inner reflection, we're finding meditation, we're finding spiritual practices, we're finding what it means to be connected to back to who we are. We're using languages or words in our language like source, like spirituality, connectedness, the lights that exist within spiritual laws, right? We're sort of like the sky is the new limit, etc., etc., spiritual astrology. All these type of things are existing within our consciousness, and we're becoming more attuned to it. Why? Because Neptune in Pisces is allowing us to be sort of like connecting to that vibration. And what's the point? The point, again, is to help with the culmination process that is taking place within our ages. And there it is. Thank you very much, Spirit Science. I greatly appreciate all the work that you guys have been doing. I really do. I think that everything that you guys have been doing relative to allowing us to become more awakened to the nature of consciousness and our worlds, etc., and that is, by the way, what I'm going to lead to next. But this picture is complementary from them, and this explains the nature of what's happening in our lives. Okay, so this large arc that's right at the top and right at the bottom is the sort of like ages that we're moving into, so from Pisces to Aquarius. Okay, and the sort of next line that intertwines over there is the sort of other planets that are happening. So Pluto in Capricorn is changing this, Neptune in Pisces is changing that, Cancer in Jupiter in Cancer is changing this, and it's sort of all interweaving. And the point of it is that humanity is evolving. So this video is about understanding the nature of how we are evolving relative to the constellations that are reflecting back in on us, how this is operating. And so this video is about sharing awareness in that process, right? And how it's working. So Neptune and Pisces is just allowing us to connect back to inner source, to find ourselves again, right? To understand the nature of who we are and what we are, and how do we relate to the universe that we are, okay? So here it is again, Spirit Science. I urge you guys to go have a look at their channel. In fact, I'm going to put a link below just to share with you more perspectives on what it is that I'm actually trying to say with you over here. But Spirit Science is a beautiful manifestation of Neptune and Pisces, and also about Uranus and Aries, for instance, and Pluto and Capricorn. We're basically breaking free, and we're becoming more conscious of the nature of who we truly are and connecting back to source. So their manifestation, what you are watching, what you are seeing, is literally the manifestation of all these planets planetary sort of like expressions that I've just shared with you guys in this video now. Okay, so I hope that was really insightful, guys. I packed a lot of information into the short talk so that you guys have got more time to sort of understand exactly what it is that I'm trying to share. Obviously, watch the video again if you want to catch more. Write in the comments below if you want to know more about what it is that I'm talking about in depth, of course, because I've only sort of like broadened this perspective, but I've sort of felt that I've captured some really, really strong points about Neptune and Pisces. There's a lot to talk about it, obviously, because it's a 14-year transit. But more so, that word over there, spirit signs, go over, check what they do, etc., etc. Their sort of whole concept is based on the energy expression of Neptune and Pisces, and obviously the other planets as well, but more so because it's transcendence from limitations and understanding our consciousness and how it operates within the universe. So this is what it's all about, and we're connecting to that space. Okay, guys, thanks very much for watching this video. Hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed my content. I've got loads more, so check out my channel as well. And if you want to book a reading to understand how your own soul is working in this process, write me an email on my website over there, and come have a look what I have to say. Okay, thanks, guys. Take care and have a fantastic day. Cheers, bye.